Well, hey everybody, it's DiveGirl Deb. It's August of 25 already. Like, wow. I'm feeling much better. I've been doing metformin and NAD plus injectables, and they're both working hard to make me feel like I'm alive again. And I'm wanting to do projects, and I sit down to recover for 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, what am I going to do next? I feel like a border collie who wants a job. It's just strange to have all this metabolic energy for a change. I was in such a pit. I'm clawing my way out. But one of my favorite things to do is to pre-cook meats where I simmer them slow for an hour or two, and then I freeze them up, and later, then I put them in individual packages for me for one meal, and then later I'll add some seasoning to them. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing. So while beef is like horribly expensive, you can still buy like a side of pork ribs here for less than $2 a pound. And in my mind, that's a good deal because there's not a lot of bone in these. These only have bones from about here out. It's all cartilage up. So more than half of the meat here doesn't, you can eat most of it. And it's just a really good value. So, $9 for a big slab of meat here, 4.5 pounds. That's a good deal. So these, you want to look and see if there's like this membrane across the back. If you're picky, take that off. I just chew through it myself. It doesn't bother me. But if you don't like that, you want the best quality possible, then like trim a little piece off and grab it with pliers and just peel that membrane off. And if you're a little bit of a gardener or you know somebody who's a gardener, get your pruning shears out and go cut some sage and some rosemary. And I wash it and cut it in about 3-inch strips. And now I've got it in this big skillet, and you can see there's sage and rosemary in here. And I've taken that pork and cut it into individual ribs. Now the reason I do that is because I like seasoning and finish on the sides, all 4 sides, not just 2. So if you leave this as a slab and cook it out, those areas are not going to get seasoning. And I'm kind of I'll admit it, I'm a seasoning whore. I like the flavor all the way around. And then I add, about, I don't know, an eighth of a cup of salt to them. And with pork, you always want to wash your hands. And then I take that packaging that they give you and wash it out and then put it in a bag, tie a knot, and then that goes in the garbage. But at least it's tied up. Don't put it in your garbage can because it'll stink. Man, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so good already. So kosher salt, that's what I've been using, is a little bit of kosher salt in there, and just pour it around and move it around, and then I keep the lid on, and that dude is just going to sit there and cook. Yum. And you can see you don't need a high temperature, but that salt is going to break it down and let it cook for a couple hours, and you should be able to just pinch that meat and pull it off in your fingers. Yum. So once it cools down, then I put them in individual bags because I like to make myself like single portion. And so these are smaller Ziploc bags inside a bigger bag. And this is 1 slab of ribs, which is great. So, and you can compare it over here to that pile, and I'll take this one first every time. But yeah, that's a great way to do ribs. All right, so you want to finish these out. What are you going to do? Well, I'm kind of a dry rub and a wet rub kind of girl. People fight all the time. Do you like dry rub or do you like wet sauce? I like both. So I make my own. This is DiveGirl Deb's barbecue rub. And I don't remember what's in it, but I do buy... granular molasses. And this is some of it right here. And it's just dried molasses, and it's really sweet. It's yummy, and it's part of what I sprinkle on just about all of my pork is a little bit of that. Also, if you're getting ready to finish your bacon, you can sprinkle some of that on your bacon and let it melt over that crispy bacon right before you take it out of the pan. That's the thing, is like, don't add sweet to your meat until you're ready to take it out of the pan. So it'll just warm up that a little bit and then pull it, because otherwise it's going to burn. There's a lot of sugar. So of course I think Sweet Baby Ray's is some of the best going on out there. So they've got hickory and brown sugar, and this is their sweet and spicy. And then one of my old-time favorites is, of course, soy vase. Very, very teriyaki. Yum! And, you know, Deb's barbecue rub. That's yummy, but I made a big batch of it. I just pulled a recipe off the internet and made a big batch. And then I kind of played around and added a little bit of this and that. I didn't write it down, so I probably can't repeat it, but this is really good. So, what do you think? So they'll cool down and bag them up, add them to my other pile, and then later we will put some sweet on them when it's time to heat them and plate them. So your friends are granulated molasses, homemade dry rub, and some kind of wet sauce that you like. Of course, my favorite finish of all time is to boil them like that and then put them on my barbecue or smoker with some nice natural woods underneath it and get a little smoky flavor mixed in there, and then add your seasoning on top, and that's the really slamming best. So I'll boil them and then throw them on the barbecue to kind of add a little smoke and freeze them, and then later just sauce them up. So what's your guys' favorite little cookout like that, or cheat? You know, I think $2 a pound pork ribs that have been boiled for about 90 minutes and then finished off with some top-notch sauce. You know, that makes a nice meal. I buy groceries once a month, and so I can eat one of these slabs of pork, you know, generally in a month. There's you know, a good 6 or 8 meals there, and add some salad to that, and I am a happy girl. So there you go. There's my DiveGirl Deb's barbecued ribs and how I do it. All right, guys, love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. August, really?